Fine. Good morning, students. So let us commence the session. We are with the last topic in Unit 2, but we are ready to construct an SOA model. That is the reason why we are revising Unit 2 again, and we are marching towards the last topic. Please understand and try to orient the business problems with the model. Then only say, otherwise it could be a block diagram for you, right? So understanding, knowing and writing a block diagram would not be that much big challenge for you. Attending to examinations, it will be okay, but survival in the industry, getting promotions and moving forward in your career, so all those things will decide completely based upon your analytical skills, right? This topic will enhance that as per our Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so please have a write on that. That will help you. Try to match. You could have any one of the case study. Observe what are all the issues in that. Especially take the case study that consists of number of services. Okay, number of services. Observe that what are all the services it is doing. What are all the apart from the services? What are all the other services you can provide through that platform that you can list it out, as well as when you are going to introduce your own service, how your service could communicate with the already existing or predefined services, how the communication would happen between service to service. If you want to establish or if you want to do a task by communicating between your own service and already existing service, what would be the performance metric on that during the communication and during processing input and output. So how it is happening when more number of requests are hitting for the corresponding service, how the service is behaving, right? So all those things are there, right? uh, that could be a challenging one for you to work with in terms of an analytical summary. I found a lot of students are doing some interesting case studies through LinkedIn. I could able to observe most of our students are doing. So we're going to take this type of topic, and if you move forward, in especially if you post in LinkedIn, what you have analyzed through SOA framework for a particular service, and if you are going to talk about that, ultimately what will happen, the people in the LinkedIn will try to observe you that you are trying to solve some issue or you are ready to identify an issue, right? So in that case, your opportunities will explode, right? So please remember that. This is the time that people are looking for trendsetters in the market, right? So have a eye on this and start working with SOA framework. Whatever the project that you are ready to do, no issues. But have the base as SOA. Right? SOA and cloud computing will play a vital role. Right? Um, Whatever the project that you are going to do, make sure that you are incorporating these two technologies. Okay, SOA should be there, cloud computing should be there. Whatever, even if you are going to devise a simple model to recognize a person or recognize any objects, make sure that you are having these features apart from your machine learning and deep learning. Those facilitations should be there in the layer of these SOA and cloud computing, right? So have an eye on that and work towards that. Your final year project work will need to travel in that way. Then only that would be visible, right? See, soon your projects are going to be hosted in some common places, right? I think while we are on our march, our PG and PhD thesis will be stored like our digital repository for our certificates, DigiLocker. Likewise, it would be stored on the time. The uniqueness of your thesis must be identified, right? So that can be identified only these types of granules that what you are going to do with your project work, right? So that could be the days. Those days are not longer. That you have only hardly I could be able to convey. You have only 7 months to move forward to exhibit your project. So along with your placements, concentrate on your final year project work too. Right? So getting into the recap of yesterday's session. What can have the largest impact on the performance of an SOA? Right? It's a very good question. Till now, what I have talked towards you, that is based upon this question only. Right? Largest impact on the performance of SOA. How will you say that AWS is doing good? How will you say that Google Compute is doing good? How will you say that Microsoft Azure is doing good? That's what the question is. Okay, so what would be the answer? A, B, C, D. Service granularity, use of open standards, service version management, business monitoring of key performance indicators. What would be the best option? A, B, C, or D? I need answers in the chat. But yesterday I found no one have responded. I think don't repeat this today. Try to answer it. Might be right or wrong. I'll give you explanation for all the options. Okay. So please respond in the chat. A, B, C, or D. Any one of the option relevant to the question. Yes. Any options? Yes, we have some options. C. It's good to hear three options. Huh? Option is A, right? I'll be telling you why you people have diverged for C, right? So service version management is nothing but the thing what you have learned in your software engineering. Nothing but SCM, software configuration management, right? So that's what service version management, nothing more than that. Use of open standards. Okay, use of open standard. Ultimately, we are using SOAP only for communicating between services. Okay, that's what option B. So option C is software configuration management. Option D, business monitoring of key performance indicators. It is nothing about the outcome of the service, right? Outcome of the service. KPIs are nothing but outcome of the service. How fast you are getting your delivery in your Swiggy, right? So in that, what are all the indicators will perform? Right? That's what outcome of the service. Option D. Option A is the one which will give you the clear idea. Service granularity. Granularity means each and individual fine elements of services can be identified. Okay, so that service granularity will ready to exhibit. Even it could able to act as an individual, as well as it could able to communicate with other services and could able to respond. Right? I will convey you service granularity. The best example for service granularity is your payment gateways, right? Or your digital wallets, right? So, or your corresponding enhanced versions of your wallets, like your PhonePe, GPay, BIM, right? So these people are having, because whomever the service that you are going to associate, I can associate with this Swiggy, I can associate with them in IRCTC, I can associate with them in Redbus, right? So I could able to associate with them in MakeMyTrip.com. So it can be associated with anything in a convenient way, right? So that will give you the very good performance that what could be able to exhibit, right? I could not be able to have something on what do you call an e-commerce based discussion, right? Over on that. Even initially, I think you could be able to see within the service itself, they have some other metrics also. In IRCTC, they will convey that these gateways success rate is, likewise they will give some percentage. These internet banking domains success rate is, likewise they will give. So depending upon your payment option, you could able to choose. This is within the service, right? So inter-service and intra-service communications could be analyzed in a perfect way. So that's what the term service granularity is talking about, right? That's what the answer, right? So if you want to measure an SOA platform, that must be identified how it is giving cushion for the service granularity. That's the point that you need to stress it upon. Second one, in applying SOA, which principle can reduce overall cost? Right. This is what the research question for you, right? If you want to reduce cost for an SOA model already planned for a Swiggy delivery or for a Flipkart or for any e-commerce based platform, right? Or e-commerce based platform or S-commerce based platform, whatever may be. In that case, which one you will choose? Reuse services across lines of business, reusability of services. Build services only for specific functions. That's what most important business functions. Build general services that can perform variety of business tasks. So one service, multiple activities. Re-implement all services on a consistent hardware and software. They have talked something about infrastructure. Okay. So which would be the option? A, B, C, or D? Which one will reduce overall cost? Overall cost. First one is talking about reusability. Second, B and C have talked about softwares alone. D is talking about both software and hardware. Okay. So what would be the best option for this? Please put it in the chat. In applying SOA, which principle can reduce overall cost? Yes. Could I have options on the chat? Yes, people are supplying some options. Very good. That could be the option. Reuse services across lines of business. That's the ultimate principle, right? That's the ultimate principle. I don't want to write the code again. Already code is available in the form of an API or application or even a process. So no need to write the code again. I could able to reuse the services and pay for it. Ultimate thing is, see, how fast you are giving your business delivery. That's what people will be expecting, right? I could able to convey a case study here. For a retail shop in Kundratur, we have designed a billing software using 2016-20 batch IT students. We have designed a billing software and we have launched it in their shop opening day. Okay, so within 3 days we have completed everything and we have launched it. But when the business process is going on, when it is going to increase, when a number of data is going to be stored in that particular local desktop is going to increase, because daily it will generate bills and vouchers, right? So what happened? Again, we have to go for a versioning, software configuration management. So how to manage that services on that case? So immediately what we did, see what are all the bills are going to come. We have integrated a Google Sheet with that. What are all the bills are going to come? Instead of storing in the local drive, we are ready to store it in the Google Sheet, right? It's simple, a Google Drive, right? They're ready to store it in a Google Drive. So whenever they need to go for their GST filing, they need those things, right? So that we have created a sheet, a Google Sheet, shared sheet. Whenever the bill is going to be stored in the Google Drive, bill, that receipt number, the invoice number, amount, that what it is going to be, total billing amount, what is the SGST, what is the CGST, that will be stored separately in the columns of the shared sheet. So at the end of the day, what could be the total GST to be paid? So that will be informed to the owner through a message, right? Through an email. So by that he will pay for every quarter, right? So it is ready to convey for day basis, it is ready to convey for week basis, it is ready to convey for the monthly basis. Okay. So for every quarter they will pay for the GST. So after 3 months, what will happen? Cumulatively, total amount that what they need to pay, that will be given through this software, right? So this additional functionality has been incorporated within 2 days. That's what. So how we could be able to do that? Because the G Suite is having tools already available. We have not implemented anything. We have integrated our service architecture. We have integrated our code with the Shoot. That's all. Shoot had taken care of everything. storing it, and file renaming it. For everything we have options in that. Okay, the only key indicator is what they have to do. They have to for G Suite they have to pay an yearly plan of 900 rupees. So for them that will not be a big amount for that, right? So already they are paying a maintenance amount for the respective software. So along with that 900 rupees billing that they are going to pay. Okay, so reuse services across lines of business that we have to maintain. That could be the success of the any business, right? Everything that has to be originated from the IT to business platform that you have to think about uh, as the programmer point of view or as a developer point of view. You should not think about the complexity. You have to think about the complexity in the user interface or in the terms of how consumers are being to be serviced at a faster rate. So that's what will give you the business success. Even I could able to compare GPay. Even though if your amount is debited from the bank, then it got the message, the GPay will give you we are processing, right, and we will inform you. But when you go for other digital wallets, they won't convey that. Contact your bank while they are on try. If they have met anything intermediate transactions to be failed, they won't inform. Immediately they will convey the green color mark will turn red color mark, contact your bank. But GPay will convey you that payment processing, right? They won't convey anything on a negative aspect. Payment processing, we will inform you about the status later. Likewise, the content will be delivered to us, right? So the service will be delivered to us at any case. Even though if the amount got debited, what will happen? If services is not being actuated on the time, they will take their things on their shoulder, right? So when you are going to credit next time, ultimately they will subtract that amount from your wallet. That's it. That's the main case that we need to proceed with the business, right? So that's the main thing. See, the reason I am spending more time on this question is, please think about this. This could be the trendsetter for your work, right? And third one, when services are identified based on isolated applications rather than business, which problem may result? Right? So already applications are separate, business platform is separate. Our service is integrating both. That's what service decomposition. That what we are doing here. Okay. In service decomposition, what is the problem will come? That's their question. Rogue services means the service will not behave properly. Duplicate services means the multiple copies of the service. Or likewise, in the same road we will be having three or four supermarkets. That's what duplicate services. Shelfware services, component based, right? Application services, tailored applications. That's what tailored services. You no need to do anything, just to pay and use it. So which services are identified based on isolated applications rather than business? What would be the problem may result? Right? They're asking about the problem. They're not asking about what you need to do. They're not asking what you need to do. They're asking, if I am going to use like this, what would be the problem? That's what their question is. So what would be the option for question number 3? Yes, options are from B. Right, that's good. Duplicate services, right? For this purpose only, I think in 3rd or 4th unit we will learn UDDI. Okay, so this discovery protocol will help us if you are having any duplicate services. In those days, what it will do, it will remove it. It will remove it. But nowadays, it will give the rating, right? You are having a privilege to launch your own weather service software, no issues. But how much accurate it was? How many users are using it daily? Okay. So likewise, performance ratings will be given, which is having the top priority. That would be chosen by the consumer, or that would be chosen by the cloud resource broker, whoever may be, right? So priority will be given for the people who is performing best. That's the thing. So in that case, duplicate services can be managed, but it would be a problem on the initial days, right? But not now. That's a main idea. But advisable thing is, when you are going to create a SOA platform, it is good to avoid the duplicate services, because for that you have to deploy the separate management control. So that is the reason why, because performance monitoring, rating, sentimental analysis, everything has to be run separately for how many number of duplicate services are there, that many number of thing will happen. That could be a overhead here. Okay, so to avoid that, it is good to identify those duplicate services and can be eliminated. Yes. How can disparate services communicate with each other in SOA? Simple. How services will communicate between between them? How inter services are communicating? How intra services are communicating? Right. That's the thing. See how a booking service is communicating with the payment service in IRCTC, or how an ordering service is communicating with the payment service, right? How it is happening, right? So using XML messages, I think that could be the best option, right? I think most of them have responded for this. I think so. So service providers adopt one common data model for all services. Here there is no need of data model, right? We are not doing data modeling here. Service providers will be adaptable for protocols, not in modeling. Okay, enforce a common data model at ESB, right? So ESB is something different. We will see at the end of the session. ESB is something different. It could be like list of services that are flowing in a stream that you could be able to pick it up and use, like a tray. Right, so that's not the correct thing. Business analysts create the integration logic details to negotiate between services. This is the role of brokers, cloud resource brokers. Okay, so that's the role of cloud resource brokers. So B, C, D are completely heterogeneous about the topic. So only thing is we are using SOAP, right? Simple Object Access Protocol. SOAP protocol is used to communicate between the services, inter-service or intra-service, right? SOAP protocol is completely written in, or SOAP protocol is completely devised using XML related technologies only, right? So ultimately the option is use XML messages to provide interoperability. So that's the indirectly they are talking about the protocol SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol. And finally, the last one, which specifications are central to web services, right? Web services. Which technology? That's they are asking. That means I could able to devise the question in other aspect is what are all the technologies which are common in web service also? Likewise, I could able to devise it. What are all the technologies which are common in web service also? Because all these things are available in all types of services in SOA platform. Their question is, what are all the services common to web service also? So from A, B, C, D, you have to choose one option. Which one is common in service-oriented platform? That's what their question is. If they want to communicate between services, or if they want to communicate within services, if they want to communicate anything heterogeneous. So that's what their question is. Which would be a common one? So what would be the option and answers? Do I have C, XML and XML schema. That will be dedicated and related only for SOAP, right? It is available in option D, right? Still now you have come across ESB and WS policy. It is ruled out. It won't come here, right? Now you have to choose between A, C, D. So which one would be? Option is D. People are supplying options D, right? So since XML can be used to communicate between messages, WSDL will ready to tell what is my services, and I can program that service also using WSDL. The HTTP request, I think while I'm dealing with my XML unit, the first unit, you could be able to see that, right? Inner HTML, right? That can be identified using that XML HTTP request. The corresponding object model can be identified through that layer. So it's a wrapper, right? It's a wrapper. So XML HTTP request, it's a wrapper over on that. So the best option would be HTTP and SOP on the same wrapper. Okay, so WSDL is the unique one. Ultimately, what will happen if I am having XML and WSDL? It is enough for me to access, create, manipulate, to work with any types of services. So, for building a basic service, it is enough for me to work with the WSDL and the XML. That's the idea behind this. So option A is the best one, right? So that's a way of learning. I think it's a very good discussion. I think so. That what we have had, it's a complete revision also. Right. This is what the thing we are traveling. Enterprise application integration. So we are all having the actual systems. We have a middleware, and that middleware is having an API, so that I can write my own applications, and I could able to launch it in my platform. So here the idea here is this enterprise application integration. That's what our SOA is ready to do. That API will be supplied by the middleware. That's the point here. That's the reason why they are marked as red color, such that the middleware is compatible in all different types of systems. Okay, all different types of systems. Please remember that, all different types of systems. So it is easy for me to manage the different types of applications as well as different types of services. That's what enterprise application integration. We are ready to give you a solution here. Okay, if I need to integrate all the systems, that is already, I think, in the beginning of the discussion that you have come across, legacy systems to move forward for these types of SOA based systems. So in that case, they are ready to give a solution based on middleware, right? If I'm going for middleware, again, what will happen? It could be something on that I have to rely purely on middleware. If middleware is going to be disturbed, ultimately the corresponding apps developed using that middleware could not be launched anywhere else, right? Again, I will have the issues in my MTTF and MTBF, mean time to failure and mean time between failure. That could be the case that we have to think about. And here they are giving you an exposure. If you want to create a SOA platform, this could be the basic, right? A middleware need an API. That means you have to create a middleware that need an API. That API, using the API, I can develop an app such that the app is ready to work on the system, on any systems, on any operating systems, on any platforms. So that is what Google is trying nowadays using our Google framework, right? You could able to see that they are creating Flutter framework. Okay, they are creating a Flutter framework. They are creating a Dart over on the Flutter. Ultimately, mobile application development, web application development, device neutrality, everything will be mapped, right? Whenever I am going to include any new device, my Flutter is ready to occupy for it. It will not negate it, right? But if I am going to use Java or C# in that case, what will happen? But I'll tell you, Dart is completely developed based upon this Java, some of the best features in Java, some of the best features from our C# also. They took some of the important features from that also, and they have created this environment, right? So likewise, they are having their own framework, their own API. Likewise, they are ready to build now. That could be open source also. That is the main thing, because otherwise SOAP could not be able to communicate over on that. So they are ready to give advanced version of SOAP to communicate between them, right? This is a case study pertaining to my EAI. Okay, remember that Flutter and Dart. If you have time, please go through the Google, that will give you the content. I think this could be a book that will talk about something on enterprise integration patterns, that I have come across this in MIT website, that I found it to be useful, that even you could able to have idea and you can customize and take it forward, right? That could be the fine one. So this could be the evolution of our distributed computing, right? So ultimately, we are going to end up in cloud computing only. But the thing is, what could be our transition? Well, if we need to move for that enterprise application, the integration process happening in EAB has to start from this. Initially, we are running with the mainframe, right? Then moving forward, client server. I have omitted infrastructure and concentrating on software from component technologies. Corba, EJB, RMI, and PCOM. Later I am moving for messaging, right? So nothing but my role of XML. Now using XML, they are creating a platform, right? That's what my service orientation will happen. This could be the ladder, or you could able to convey like how you have learned your generations of computers. This could be the generation of our computing architectures. This could be the computing architectures, or this could be the generation of our what do you call, even for software based distributed computing. I could able to convey like that. So that's the idea to grow and move forward. Right. This could be the layers that we have moved upon in as a developer point of view. It's a developer point of view, right? Initially, we are writing programs in C and C++. That's what structured design. Next, see that yellow color cylinder that is ready to work with my classical layer, nothing but object-oriented design. So I am ready to work with C++, Java, and other types of object-oriented programming paradigms. Next, what I did, component layer. I have designed my own beans, Java beans, right? I have designed my own component object model that will be available, right? The class, that means the particular class will perform this functionality. For example, this class can able to perform communication between server and client. This class can able to perform communication between some other hidden environment. This component could able to perform converting a black and white image into color image. So likewise, all my applications will come as a component. That's what my component layer. Service layer, right? Service layer means to access the component, I started giving services. Instead of giving access to my infrastructure, instead of giving access to my program directly, I am creating a counter there, right? The counter is nothing but my service. You give input into the counter will take care of that, and it will perform the process, and it will give you back the solution, right? That's what my service oriented design. So see, and you need to understand here is, if you have already any good programs, any good softwares already running effectively in your environment, no need to recreate it. Just to create a web service for the program, or just to create a normal service for the program that will ready to access and use. See, still we have not exposed something on internet programming nowadays, right? How many of you have used your servlet effectively? Yes, how many of you have used your servlet effectively? See, for example, the teacher have given you, all of you write a program to perform addition of two numbers, right? What you will do? Every one of them will write addition of two numbers, and they will be showing you. Instead of that, through servlet, what you can do, right? I could able to write only one program, addition of two numbers. Servlets, I could able to write only one servlet. That servlet, what it will do, that will access the functionality of the class, and it will give you the result in the form of a HTML page. That's all. Okay. So whenever next time a second student is going to create the program, no need to create. Already program is available. Already servlet is available. What he has to do? He has to give only input to that servlet. That's all. Servlet will take care of it, and it will give you the answer again. One time class was compiled. One time servlet was compiled. One time servlet was reloaded. That's all. So whenever you are going to access the servlet again and again, what will happen? Servlet will be called only once. The class is also called only once. But the input to the servlet and output from the servlet will be exited, will give an entry and exit for number of times, right? That is the place where the service have started, but we have not identified it properly while we are going to learn, right? So this could be a internal level environment. It is not accepted by other softwares. For example, I am going to write a software in C#, right? I want to integrate with the software with the functionality with my servlet. In that case, servlet and C# will not communicate. They have some communication issue over under. That is the reason why don't you create a service? That service will take care of communication between heterogeneous components, right? So one service is in one program is in C#, one program is in Java, one more program is in Python. So in that case, all these three things can combine and give me a very good solution. In that case, I could employ a platform that could communicate between these three environment and will give you a common solution, right? You don't know what's happening exactly behind these three programs, how they are communicating, because that will be taken care of by XML based SOAP. That's it. Right? This could be the evaluation that the history that you need to learn about it. And benefits of SOA. That's what again we are revisiting, right? To understand further on the layers. So efficient and effective usage of business services. So all the services could be used. It can be advertised also very easily in the platform. Greater agility. Agility means, so whenever I'm going to run with the identified deadlines, whenever I'm going to run with any identified emergency based requirements that can be easily executed through this. So it's like a shop. In that shop, everything is available. There is no matter of agility here, actually. Right? If agility exists, even it could be able to do it in a greater sense. That's what. Loosely coupled with the reusable assets and services. That's what we have talked about in the MCQ, right? That's across business lines, the property of reusability will exist always. Promotes productivity, reduces time to market. This is what the people are expecting, right? Consumer as well as the business people, both of them are expecting this. Reduces time to market, time to reach the market actually. Promotes productivity. See, if everything is available, no need to write code on the same thing. You think in some other aspect to write and devise some other code, right? Otherwise, you can go for code optimization also. For example, yeah, mobile app which is increasing day by day, like transistors law, right? So it will increase in the 1 by nth of the corresponding for some x number of periods. So likewise only, your app size is increasing day by day when you are going to run the upgrade. Why don't you work on something to reduce your app size? Okay, reduce your app size. Whenever I'm going to perform my update, the app size is grows. The app size is growing. Initially, it is in some 6 MB or 7 MB, being given a very good rating in the Play Store or in the iStore. Day by day, what is happening? That 6 MB have come for 360 MB. How it happens, right? So, is there any problem with my operating system, or is there any problem with my integration part, right? Is there any problem in my framework, right? So I have to think about that, right? That's the reason why Google have started already thinking about that, and they started working on Flutter and that. Okay, so try to give some solution in that aspect. That's what the term promotes productivity. Developers and programmers could concentrate, will go for some qualitative development environment instead of quantitative, right? So, as well as it will drive business process closer to end users. I know what's happening, right? We are talking about all the technologies. Even though if you are not a computer literate, you could be able to talk about what Swiggy is doing, what Flipkart is doing, what Amazon is doing, right? How that, because they know that this is the technology running behind them, and this technology is giving them in a easier way and services and solutions. In those days, our parents, they'll be standing in the bank to withdraw and to do the banking operations. That could be like going to a government office on those days. But nowadays, nothing like that. We are sitting on mobile and doing mobile banking and internet banking. ATM is ready to services. So likewise, banking have relaxed its operations into services which are reachable to customers. That is the reason why banking operations have grown like anything, right? That could be a very very good example when we are going to talk about our SOA, right? So that's the thing. Further, technologically agnostic, right? So whenever any new technology is ready to come into my platform, it is ready to adapt, because we have a person called SOAP that could be able to talk with any technology, right? Leverage and integrate existing applications. That's what ultimately that we will see about ESB, Enterprise Service Bus, that will help us to communicate between all heterogeneous applications in a proper way. Maintenance, yes, this is the point that I have to stretch it upon and talk about that. Software maintenance, hardware maintenance. Even hardware maintenance have some time, right? But software maintenance, nothing but upgrades. This can be done in a automatic way. Analytical performance of the upgrade as well as the maintenance can be managed by the platform itself. I don't need to appoint a team to do that. Okay, so manual cost of managing that particular section has been eliminated completely when we are going to work with the SOA, right? So, for example, in a supermarket, a retail of very big supermarket, I don't need to appoint a person to manage the software, right? It's enough. If the billing clerk know how to use that, it is enough. If any exceptional error is going to come, there will be a help number. If the billing clerk is going to make call to that number, from the call, they will, through their call center operations, they could be able to manage the operations in the remote. That's it. They will do remote reboot, and without loss of data, they could be able to do that. So that much effective that people could be able to work with. So that's the main thing. The third point: build, maintain, extend versus rip and replace also. Rip and replace also. Replacing old contents with the new technology upgrade. That also can be done very easily. Provide standard connections between systems, right? So communication between systems will happen properly. Abstract complexity for developers, right? So this is the main point that we are going to talk about. That, see, this functionality is not available in the programming language. If we know another programming language and it is having a ready-made API, for example, in Python I am writing 4 lines of code for face recognition, but in Java I am writing around 15 lines of code. In that case, I want to write in Python. So that flexibility can be used, and output can be combined with another programming language also. That's what the term abstract complexity for developers, right? I could able to do that. The outcome only people will ready to come across, right? So that's the thing that I want to convey. Again, we will travel further on these topics to reach the layers of SOA, right? So try to have a recap that what we have seen in the yesterday's session and today's session, how we are traversing from the layers. So today we have seen the layers in terms of development also. Initially we run with the C and C++, then we came for C++ and Java. Next it came for component based. Okay. So from the component, I have reached the service layer environment, right? So still we have discussion in service layer environment. Okay. So again, the same topic will continue for the next session too. Still, if you have any doubts, you can post it in the chat.